to Black, Bold Leaders of Authority, Courage, and Knowledge. I have three of my brothers and sisters here to help with the welcome and the prayer. We love to pray before each of our events and have God shine on us so that we can actually inspire and make the world a better place to live. So this vision and mission was thought of by the four of us, and it is to educate and share historical leaders as well as current leaders that are doing great things in the world to make the world better, and to put some light on them and have people see that there is hope, and have people learn more about this month. Every single person in the world should learn more about Black History Month, because the more you know, the more you're able to have gratitude and learn that we need to be together to make this planet work. So I'd like to turn over to Dr. Roz, Dr. Smile, my sister, to give the prayer, and then we're going to go round robin so each of you get to meet and hear these leaders that help us.
Blessings, blessings, blessings. Father God, in Jesus' name, we thank you for raising Black leaders of authority, courage, and knowledge for such a time as this. Clothe us with your wisdom, anchor us in integrity, and fill us with fearless faith. Let our voices carry truth, our actions reflect justice, and our lives reveal your glory. Strengthen our minds, steady our hearts, and establish our steps as we love and lead, serve with humility, and walk in kingdom authority. We declare we are empowered, equipped, and appointed for impact. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen. And why don't we turn over to Dr. Breakthrough, Dr. Stan. Thank you, Dr. Stan. The reason you are here is because we all would not be here if it wasn't for the gracious connections you make unconditionally every single day to people, including myself. So thank you for all the introductions you've made to make these programs more successful.
Hey, man. Well, thank you, man. It's a privilege and a pleasure, a treat and a treasure, a joy beyond measure. Appreciate you. And again, anything that God does through me, I'm just so grateful. And I tell people all the time, I was a nobody, but he made me into a somebody. And now I'm committed to telling everybody he can do the same and a whole lot more through anybody. And that's what this is all about. 100th anniversary. It was 1926 when Carter G. Woodson started Black History Week. And then 1976 when it started as Black History Month. So this is the 100th anniversary of this celebrating. And again, the scripture is clear. He that despises his neighbor is because of a lack of wisdom. And so when we're educating, not just, ourselves, but everybody else, I mean, we all can look at people as who they are, not judgmental, not preconceived notions. And so that's what's powerful. So again, thank you, each and every one of you for spearheading this. And thank you who are watching. And by the way, we need you to spread the message, let people know this is powerful, it's practical, and it's designed with your education and your empowerment in mind. So I close with this, and that is, they used to say that you're a product of your environment. And I was like, that's part right, but actually you're a product of your empowerment is what I say. And so we can change our empowerment by being part of this Black Hour of Power every day. By the way, Doc, the other day I was in tears just seeing people honoring other people that are so powerful. Unlike the crab in a bucket, one crab's trying to get out and they pull him back down. No, you're producing a reverse crab in a bucket. We're like saying, hey, Dr. Cassandra, you're doing good, but you can do even better. Go ahead, Tanisha, you got this, girl. Go ahead, Dr. Smile. Go ahead, Dr. Smiling. And so thank you again, and appreciate each and every one of you. I'm honored to be here with you.
Thank you so much. And finally, I'd like to have the voice of our director of events, who has a very, very big shoes to fill. She does all these events. We have over 300 events in February, and I don't know how we do without her. The Smile Channel rejoices because of her smile and her spirit. Thank you, Tanisha.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Smiley, for this vision and allowing me to participate and be a part of the execution of it all. We're excited about so many people being illuminated in this month. There is such a great opportunity. And the wonderful thing is that you still have time to participate. You still have time to share about the leader, the Black leader that is influencing and impacting you. So make sure you go into the comments and click the link where you can sign up to be a part of this Bold Leaders of Authority, Courage, and Knowledge. It is going on every single day in February, every single day for just 1 hour for you to share about the leader you know, and 1 hour for you to learn about leaders that you have not even heard of yet. I've already been reminded of some people that I had forgotten about, and been encouraged about some people that I was like, oh, I forgot they did that. Oh, I never heard of them. And so if you want to learn something new, if you want to be a part of someone else learning something new, then this is a great opportunity for you. And even more so, share it on your socials, share it on your email list. Listen, copy the link and put it in your email list and blast it out for Black History Month, because we want you to be a part. So we thank you for supporting, and we look forward to bigger and better.
Well, I have a surprise for the three of you, because there are so many people we can speak about. And this month actually taught me a lot about how people are ticking, like how they're inspired. But gratitude is when you actually share how someone touched your life. And I want to share this because there are not enough days in the month for me to speak about the people I would like to speak. But if anyone would like this list of 200 amazing, inspiring leaders, I am going to be speaking about several of them. But this list is available to you. It gives you ideas of who you can speak about. And there are 200, and I will whip through this a little quicker here. And you can have this absolutely for free. And please nominate somebody who wants to speak about a leader if it's not you. Thank you very much, and welcome to Black History Month, Hour of Power.
Thank you so much, Dr. Smiley. Thank you for the opportunity to share and to lift up some amazing Black leaders. I am Tanisha Carroll, and I'm excited to host this evening, February 27th, the 27th day of going live with bold leaders of authority, courage, and knowledge. And today I'm going to begin by speaking about Marian Anderson. Marian Anderson was not only one of the greatest contraltos of the 20th century, she was a woman whose presence challenged injustice simply by standing where others said she could not. She was born in 1897 in Philadelphia. Marian Anderson rose to international acclaim because of her extraordinary voice. She performed across Europe to standing ovations when opportunities in America were limited due to segregation. She studied relentlessly, mastering languages, vocal technique, and classical repertoire. Her excellence was not accidental, it was disciplined. That is leadership grounded in knowledge. It was in 1939 that Marian Anderson was courageous enough to place herself in history, unbeknownst to herself. The Daughters of the American Revolution refused to allow her to perform at Constitution Hall simply because she was Black. Many could have retreated. However, instead, with the support of leaders, including First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, Marian Anderson then performed on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial before a crowd of 75,000 people and millions more listening by radio. Imagine a Black woman standing at the foot of the statue of Abraham Lincoln, singing "My Country 'Tis of Thee" in a segregated nation. Not with anger, not with retaliation, just dignity and excellence. This performance was more than a concert. It was a declaration. It said that talent cannot be confined by prejudice. It also said that injustice cannot have the final word. And that is leadership powered by courage. Marian Anderson would go on to break another barrier in 1955 when she became the first Black artist to perform a leading role at the Metropolitan Opera in New York City. Again, she did not force her way. She entered through mastery. She entered through preparation. and through commitment to her craft. Her authority did not come from position alone. It came from excellence that was so undeniable that the door had to open. Marian Anderson teaches us that bold leadership is not always loud. Sometimes it is composed, patient, and it sings. Her life challenges each of us to ask a question. When doors close, will we retreat or will we rise in excellence? I'm very influenced and impacted by Marian Anderson because I grew up looking to people like her as a singer myself, wanting to see Black people in an genre of opera and classical music. And so I had to search and look for those people. And she, of course, was one of the first voices that I found. And so I'm happy to present to you today, Marian Anderson. And as we move forward, we are going to have a host of other men and women, phenomenal men and women, who are going to share about another historical figure. And so I want to invite Dr. Joel Freeman to the stage. He is a solutionist, trusted advisor, specialist, thought leader, subject matter aficionado. He's the founder and president of Rosetta Universal, chief mischief maker, devoted husband, father, and grandfather. And so, Dr. Freeman, take the stage.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for spending time. I brought my white gloves with me because I have a rather comprehensive Black history collection. And I want to talk about this gentleman right here. His name is Jack Johnson. He was a boxer. Among other things, a lot of people have him just pigeonholed into boxing. A lot of the older generation knows him as that. Younger generation doesn't even know who Jack Johnson is. And I hope to, in the next 7-8 minutes or so, to share some insight about him. But in my collection, I have a record. And this record is from 1910. See, what he did is he won the championship, the world championship boxing. He became the heavyweight champion. In fact, I designed this belt for him. This is an enormous belt, weighs about 10 pounds. And you'll see in one part here, it says 1908 on this panel right here. And that simply means that he won the world championship in 1908 in Sydney, Australia. He was fighting against Tommy Burns. The other white fighters refused to fight anyone black. But Tommy was from Canada, and he really was not that interested in whether it was white or black. He just said, if you give me a check for $35,000, guaranteed, with maybe some bonuses if I win, then I'll fight him. I'll fight anybody. I'll fight this guy. And Jack had followed him all around Europe and was in the front row yelling, fight me, just like Muhammad Ali did with Sonny Liston. And, it just goes on and on. Well, what happened is he won, but the sports people put an asterisk next to Jack Johnson's name because they said, well, you've never fought the guy by the name of James Jeffries. And here you see James Jeffries on this particular spot right here. And he fought him. Here's this James Jeffries, another image of James. Well, on July 4th, 1910, that was what's known as the fight of the century in Reno, Nevada. Why Reno? Well, their laws at the time were kind of open. California was not very interested. There's a whole movement, anti-boxing movement, because it was an unregulated sport. And a lot of Christian men and women, pastors and everything from around the country, they were railing against boxing. And probably rightly so in many ways, because a lot of those, you get the bare knuckle days, a lot of fights went on for 50, 60 rounds. and it just was absolutely brutal. They didn't have the Queensberry rules of engagement, and now, of course, we only have 13 rounds in a heavyweight championship fight. So what happened was that Jack fought James Jeffries, and there was a lot of brouhaha around it in Reno, Nevada. And what happened was that Jack ended up when he beat him in 15 rounds. And it caused quite a bit of consternation around the country. In fact, hundreds of people were injured. There were race riots because black people were championing the fact that Jack had won, and white people were very angry. And so it just caused a lot of problems. The fight film, they refused to show it because they figured it would cause more problems. So 20 days later, after that fight, Jack went into the Columbia Phonograph Company studios, and he then recorded his thoughts and feelings about the 5th to the 15th rounds. And what happened is that I extrapolated 13 audio segments from just the 15th round. And then I developed this publication that I showed you prior, which you can get at jackjohnsonspeaks.com. But what I did is I then took the recording, busted it down to digital, and then in this booklet, you're able to actually use the QR code and with a sweet secret password, which is in my book, and hear his voice. But then I took all 13 segments and shared his life story through those 13 segments, and then 10 wisdom lessons, his 10-point war strategy, which is both applicable to him before and during the fight, and then for us nowadays. Now, Jack was not just a boxer. He also he served as a spy. You see, because of the Mann Act, which was developed just to catch Jack Johnson. It was a Mann Act was where someone would take someone for sexual purposes. A man would take a woman for sexual purposes across state lines. They designed that to catch Jack because he was very promiscuous, and especially with white women, and married probably 3-4 times. But he escaped. That's a whole nother story. He went over to Europe, and he fought over there. He became a champion bullfighter. He opened up a class or a company for advertising in Barcelona, Spain. He fought the wrestling champion of Norway, and beat him in wrestling. He was a spy in the sense that back then the Germans were running submarines all around the world, and they were just causing a lot of consternation. So off the coast of Spain, he brought some actionable intelligence to the United States government and the European countries about the German activity of submarines around that time. He also acquitted himself as a lawyer in Barbados. I was just in Barbados, and I talked with a lot of people in the library, the National Registry, and different organizations, the Barbados Museum, and I got a lot of information about Jack being in Barbados for 3 weeks. A guy made a kind of a stupid lawsuit against Jack, and Jack decided he was going to defend himself. And he ended up acquitting himself as a lawyer, and the judge was astonished at his understanding of English law. He won the case against the top government lawyer. I don't know why it was a frivolous lawsuit, and then they put the top government lawyer against him, but that's what happened. He won, and that's just the story of Jack, a man of resilience. A man who didn't care what society said, what culture said, all the negatives against him. He rose above them, and he's a man of courage, a man of genius. He understood not just English, but he's a man who only had 5th grade education in Galveston, Texas, but he also understood Italian, Spanish, and French, and just one of the most incredible human beings. So I hope that this little insight into Jack Johnson will cause you to want to learn more about him and to understand a little bit more about his impact on the fighters today. You have Muhammad Ali. He was a big fan of The Great White Hope, the play and the film, the movie with James Earl Jones, which was loosely about Jack Johnson's life, the impact that Jack had on, like, Mandrake the magician, and his sidekick Lothar was imaged after Jack Johnson, and then Sergeant Rock. That comic book series, a guy named Jackie Johnson was kind of idealized and set up about Jack Johnson. Was influenced by Jack Johnson. So there's so many different cultural impact, the impact that he had on so many different elements. I hope you want to learn about him. Thanks a lot, and I hope you enjoy the next person who has to share about some other person that has impacted us through history.
Wow. I mean, Dr. Joel, there's so much information there. And to learn about, I don't think I've ever heard of Jack Johnson. So I'm very intrigued. And the fact that he did all of this in the early 1900s, starting out, is a really powerful, just amazing, really, that he was able to do things at that time and have such an amazing and courageous, do so many courageous things.
And the record you saw, it's the only one in the world.
Wow. Powerful. I love that. And this is why we have these moments. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Joel Freeman. So now we are going to bring to the stage, I hope that you guys are paying close attention. There's much to learn. Now we are going to bring to the stage Mr. Roxroy Edwards. And Roxroy, we ask you to turn your camera on and unmute yourself. All right. Thank you so much for being here, Roxroy. We invite you to share.
It's a pleasure being here. Thank you very much. Yeah, so thank you, everyone. Together we stand, divide we fall. You know that unity is strength, oneness is power, right? All right. So thanks to all Black leaders. I believe that everyone, like what Dr. Smiley says, everyone should know about Black History Month. The more we know is the more we appreciate what they have done for us, right? So whether you are from a different country or from the United States, slavery was everywhere and Black leaders were all over. So they fought the battles, the endurance, the risks, the sacrifices, the responsibilities, and the life that was lost, etc. So I was listening to My Life Blueprint, and also I Have a Dream by Martin Luther King Jr. And I think from other leaders, and those are some very profound messages. And I strongly believe that those speeches should be part of the curriculum of our school age 1 to 12 grades. Right? The messages that were delivered back then is still as relevant today as it was back then. Okay, I am from Jamaica, and I'm going to briefly talk of Nanny the Maroon. So Nanny of the Maroon was born in Ghana, and she was born in the 1686, in the 1680s. So she was captured and transported to Jamaica by British slave with other slaves also. And she escaped into the plantation. She escaped from plantation with some of her brothers. And they all go and colonize up in the Blue Mountain Hills. And the battles that they are fought to free other slaves it's really inspired me that it doesn't matter what situation you are in. It's like you are capable of doing anything that you put your mind to, especially when you're fighting for your life and for your freedom. So Nanny escaped plantation slavery with her brothers. They have escaped in the Blue Mountain from their farm communities. She has become a pivotal leader in the resistance against slavery. Nana was recognized as a leader who used brilliant guerrilla tactics to defend her people from British. She became a national hero in Jamaica. And also, Nani has left behind a lasting legacy that continues to resonate in Jamaica history and culture. Her fearless leadership and strategic tactics not only secure freedom for us, but also inspired future generations to stand against oppression and fight for justice. There are so many other leaders out there that I look up to that really inspire me and have a great impact on my life. You know? We have other leaders like, I listen to Les Brown, and he inspired me a lot. Sorry, I'm just jumping all over the place. But it amazed that Black leaders have such impact on many of us, but many aren't coming forward to speak of. So I'm sorry, I'm just pausing like this. Just a little bit nervous. So we just conclude my speech right here. And thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, Roxroy. We appreciate you for sharing about Nanny of the Maroon and the idea, I mean, that she escaped from slavery. And so she was the Jamaican Harriet Tubman,
Yes.
and brought others to slavery. So to freedom. So wonderful. Thank you for sharing about her. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Well, we are going to move to our next guest. Thank you, everyone, for being a part. And so our next guest is Miss Sabrina Graham. And Sabrina is known as Miss Perfect Credit. And she has earned a perfect credit score multiple times. She's an author, speaker, real estate investor, empowering communities with credit education and wealth building strategies. Okay, Miss Sabrina, come to the stage.
Hello. All right. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Sabrina Graham, also known as Mrs. Perfect Credit. And yes, I have achieved a perfect credit score multiple times over the years. As she said, I'm an author, speaker, and now I'm a breast cancer survivor. I actually rung the bell last Friday, signifying the end of treatment and being cancer free. All right. But today I am just really honored to introduce you to Janice Bryant Howroyd. Janice is the first African American woman to build and own $1 billion company. She is the founder and owner of Act One Group, a $3.4 billion workforce solutions organization that operates in over 32 countries. They support organizations to provide jobs and careers for millions of workers across the globe. Janice grew up in North Carolina and was the fourth of 11 children. She went to segregated schools until the 11th grade. and went on to graduate from college with degrees in humanities and English. She later moved to California, and that's where she started her company in 1978. She borrowed $900 from her mom, which gave her a total of $1,500 to start this business. One of her quotes is, "Never compromise who you are personally to become who you wish to be professionally." And that's so important when you're trying to work on your brand, when you're doing contracts and which contracts you should agree to complete, social media. And so that quote is very important. However, there's another quote that inspired me to be the leader I am today. She said, "Who is the most important person in the room? It's the person with whom you're speaking with right now." Back in August of 2021, I was at a virtual conference with Lola Tomorrow, and Lola wanted us to do a template. And part of that template was a picture of Janice on one side, and then you insert your picture on the other side of Janice. And it was basically saying that I am going to be mentored by Janice. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to do that. I don't even know who Janice is until I researched her. And I was like, wow, she is brilliant. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Plus, I remember I have this thing where I say you have to see it before you see it. And so I posted on social media and I went through the conference. And let me tell you, months later, I actually met Janice. It was April 1st, 2022. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina for a conference, and everybody had the opportunity. Sorry, I think somebody's talking. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, and I had the opportunity to get a ticket where you are able to socialize with other speakers throughout the conference. And I remember being in line, and I was in line to see Boris Kojo. He's an actor, a model. I was so excited to see him. And there was one person remaining in front of me. And as I was standing there, all excited, out of the corner of my eye, I seen a woman walking past. And I looked over, and oh my God, it was Janice. I was like, ah, there's Janice. Here's my opportunity. But I really wanted to see Boris as well. But I said, Sabrina, you have a decision to make. And so I decided to chase after my dream and run after Janice. So I jumped out of that line. I went running after Janice. I caught up to her. What was amazing about it is that nobody was around her. She did not have a line, but this amazing woman was there. And so I started talking with her. And throughout our conversation, as it came to a close, I requested that we take a picture. And she said, that's fine. So the person was taking pictures of us. And she stopped and said, see if she likes it. And I thought to myself, wow, she treated me like I was really important. She treated me as if I was like on her level, a friend of hers. And I go back to the quote where she says, who is the most important person in the room? It's the person with whom you're speaking with right now. And so on the other side of it, wow, it made a huge impact on me. And so I started doing the same thing. Whoever I'm talking with, it doesn't matter who they are, what level they are, I treat them as if they are the most important person in that room in that moment. And with that, that has blessed my life so much. And so I do want to recommend you get her book. It's called Acting Up. It helps you to discover the leader inside yourself and show you how to use your uniqueness to conquer the business world. And as I close, I want to say that I want to challenge everyone today to treat the next person you speak to as if they were the most important person in the room and see how it blesses you. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you today about Janice Bryant Howard.
Oh, Sabrina, really powerful. I mean, that quote in and of itself, who's the most important person in the room, it's really powerful because we do tend to put people on levels based on what we think we know about them. And we never know who we might be missing the opportunity to connect with. So thank you for sharing with us about Janice Bryant Howard today. Wonderful. Thank you so much. As we move forward, we want to thank you for watching, and we're going to invite Dr. Talib McMisho to the
Absolutely.
stage. He's a proud father of 3 adult children and 5 amazing grandchildren, which remind him daily of the beauty of God's design. And so we invite you, Dr. Talib, to share about your.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank Black Hour of Power and all of the previous presenters that have done an excellent job. I've learned so much. Good evening. My name is Dr. Talib McMishaw. Today I have the honor of speaking about one of the most brilliant minds in American history, George Washington Carver. George Washington Carver was not simply a scientist. He was a visionary who saw possibility in places others overlooked. Born into slavery around 1864 in Diamond, Missouri, Carver's early life was marked by hardship. Yet, as a child, he saw or showed an unusual curiosity about plants, soil, and nature. He believed that creation itself held secrets waiting to be discovered. Carver went on to become one of the most respected agricultural scientists of his time at Tuskegee Institute, better known today as Tuskegee University. He taught formerly enslaved people and their descendants how to restore depleted soil through crop rotation. At a time when cotton farming had exhausted Southern land, Carver introduced peanuts, sweet potatoes, and soybeans as alternative crops. But he didn't stop there. Carver developed more than 300 products through peanuts, including dyes, plastic, paints, and even fuel substitutes. We could use those today. He created over 100 products from sweet potatoes. What made George Washington Carver historical was not just his inventions, it was his mindset. He refused to see limits. He looked at a simple peanut and saw industry. He looked at poor soil and saw opportunity. He looked at marginalized people and saw brilliance. That inspired me as an African American male. I see Carver as a model of bold leadership rooted in faith, intelligence, and courage. It is about having vision. It is about asking, what can this become? Even when others dismiss it as insignificant. That spirit influenced me as I developed a revolutionary relationship building game called Hidden Baggage. Hidden Baggage was created to help individuals and couples unpack unspoken expectation, identify negotiable and non-negotiables, and preserve their individuality and identity within relationship. It was born out of a desire to empower people, much like George Washington Carver empowered the farmers of his time. It is built on the belief that transformation begins when we examine what is beneath the surface, or in reference to George Washington Carver, what's beneath the soil. Carver once said, when you can do the common thing of life in an uncommon way, you will command the attention of the world. That resonated with me. His life reminds me that innovation does not require permission. It requires courage. It requires faith. It requires discipline. Carver faced racism, rejection, and systemic barriers, yet he continued researching, teaching, and creating. He never allowed the limitations of his time to define him. And this is the lesson I want my children and grandchildren to carry in future generations. I pray that just like George Washington Carver's life inspired me, my work, my faith will inspire the next generation. I want to be looked at. I want them to look at the world around them and see possibilities, even when the world looks impossible. I want them to understand that creativity is a gift from God, that leadership is service, that invention is an act of hope. Carver did not simply change agriculture, he changed mindsets. He demonstrated that brilliance can rise from adversity. And so today, I reflect on his legacy. I see more than a scientist. I see a blueprint for boldness, a blueprint for faith-driven innovation, a blueprint for turning overlooked things into revolutionary impact. My name is Dr. Talib McMishaw. I stand inspired by George Washington Carver, an inventor, a servant leader, and a man who saw beyond what was into what is. May we all learn to see like he saw. May we all build like he built. And may we all leave behind something that transforms the world for generations to come, like the former slave, George Washington Carver. For those of you that would like more information, you can find me on drtalib@gmail.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Talib. Thank you. Thank you for sharing about, many people know or feel they know George Washington Carver, but I appreciate this message that you have shared, especially relating him to yourself, his innovation, relating that to yourself. Really, really powerful message. Thank each of you. I would like to invite all of our guests to come back on. Open up your camera and your microphone so that we can conclude our conversation collaboratively. Thank each and every one of you. Oh, I might need to help a few people. Let's see. Please, if you're able to, Dr. Freeman and Mr. Roxroy Edwards, if you're able to open up your camera and your microphone, we want to give you the opportunity for final words. But I do just want to thank you all for being here and for sharing about what I love about this show is that, especially today, we've had the privilege of hearing about people that we don't necessarily hear about all the time. And that is the best part of Black History Month. One is that Black history is being made every single day. It has been made every single day, and we kind of hit maybe the top 10 often. But there are people who have done things, and even though we feel like, we may think we know about George Washington Carver, but to know, I didn't know that he had created alternative fuel sources. We hear mostly about the peanut, and it's all about the peanut, but he was a scientist. And what do scientists do? I mean, they experiment. That means they're always creating something. And I love that. I love that. So what I want to do is give each of you just an opportunity to give final thoughts. When you think about, and we can answer this question, when you think about Black history and the need for people to understand that it is history. Like it is not just Black history. It is history. It happened. How can we take that on and make sure that the world understands about this history? Dr. Talib, we want to start with you.
First, I'd like to say thank you again, and to the former speakers. All of you were absolutely powerful and outstanding. What a great job. I've learned so much today. And to the host, thank you. You done well. In some of my books, I always write one statement when I sign my name, and that's knowledge is power. And just a quick story. I was at a restaurant and I spoke to the waiter and I was kidding around with him, and he looked and he said, well, I read one of your books. And I said, oh, great. And so we started talking, and he said, well, what could you share with me that would enlighten me for years to come? And I said, when I was young, your age, I read in a book that was written by our counterculture that if you ever want to hide anything from people of color, and they didn't use that term, write it in a book. And so we need to know our history. When today we're talking about critical race theory, we're talking about eliminating certain museums, etc. We need to know our history. We are the gatekeepers of our history. And as I believe Joel was talking about Jack Johnson, many people don't know about Jack Johnson. We need to learn our history, and we are responsible for passing that history on to others. It doesn't have to be taught in schools. We don't have to have institutions to teach it. We need to start teaching it in our homes. Just another quick story. My daughter was young, and I taught them for their bedtime stories. They learned about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman. It wasn't Dr. Seuss. And so one day I was looking at my daughter's homework assignment, and she was in elementary school, and I saw that she had to color some chickens. And I looked at it and I said, "Sweetheart, this is beautiful, but your chickens are brown." And she looked at me and she said, "Dad, they're African American chickens." So we need to do a better job. We need to do a better job with our children and our grandchildren and our future. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Well said. Well said. Sabrina, what can you offer when you think about just the need for understanding when it comes to the history of the Black culture?
Yeah, I just think it's very important, and having something like this where we're going through every single day, these 28 days, this is amazing. I love it. I'm learning so much about Black history, about my background. And so it's just been so amazing. And one of the things that I remember when I was talking about Janice, she mentioned that her mother told her, as they were reading the books, they had old books and some pages was removed from it. And her mother told her that, if there's pages removed from it, write some information in there and put it in there so that the next reader can see it. So there's a lot of missing pages from our history. And so I think having a platform like this helps to bring those pages back into the book where those pages are missing. And so I just appreciate everyone here and again, just encourage everyone to um, continue to learn about Black history. It's important for our future.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Sabrina. Roxroy, I'm going to give you the opportunity to have final words. What are your thoughts on just the need for educating regarding Black history?
I mean, thank you for having me here once again. I mean, it's very important. I think it's something that it's a must to learn, you know. But many people aren't like taking the time out to learn many things about it, which I am still learning because I am a work in progress also, learning new things and also learning even about my own history, because we learn and we forget. They say that if we do not use it, then you're going to lose it. And we do not, we are going through it on a daily basis, but it's not on a daily basis. We are using it. So I feel like it is very important for everyone to know about Black history. It doesn't matter what color you are or whatever. We are just one. And as I said, unity is strength, oneness is power. So I think that it is very important for everyone to learn about the Black history so they will be more appreciative for it. And they have to be hungry to learn their culture. So it's very important.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Dr. Joel, we're going to ask you to give some final remarks just about the value, the importance of Black history in our community.
Let me show you something. I co-wrote this book, Black History 365. It weighs 5.5 pounds, over 1,200 pages, 1,200 QR codes, 1,248 pages, over 2,500 images, like a museum in a book. And one of the things that really caused me to do this, I spent 2.5 years, 12 16-hour days, no guarantees. It's our love letter to the whole country, not just 50%. And I think that it's important for people to have a truth-centric approach, not bending the arc toward one political party machine or the other. and to be solutionist about it too, because we bump into a lot of problems, a lot of joys, a lot of excitement. It's just a roller coaster. It's like the history of life, that we all have. And so we're not trying to aggrandize anybody or anything. We're not trying to denigrate anybody or anything when we tell the truth. But I think we can gain inspiration from people, like Jack Johnson and some of the others that were talked about today. You talked about Marian Anderson, and her approach to just saying, hey, I'm not going to be one of those people that's going to get up there and fight, and kind of march. And she was not one of those types of individuals. But there's a place for people to march peacefully and to protest. She protested by her character, her skill, her voice, and her perseverance. And she made impact in her own way. Other people make impact in their own way. The way I protest is by looking for solutions. I love it when people protest in different ways, but that's the way I'm driven. So, for instance, Annie Malone, to utilize her for the bringing back of the hair care and beauty industry instead of being controlled by, I have a whole 10-year plan for that. So rather than grumbling and complaining, oh, the Asians, have taken over about 90% of the hair care and beauty industry. I have a plan 10 years to take it without firing one shot and taking it back, top down, bottom up, as long as everybody at the top has good motivation. Greed is measurable, and if someone gets greedy, then it just destroys the whole purpose. So it's the whole idea of using stories just to help us to be able to see how we're not looking to the government for help. We're looking for entrepreneurial approaches to bring solutions to situations that surround us.
Wonderful. Thank you. Good. So good. Well, thank you all so much for joining me tonight on the 27th day of Black Hour of Power, Bold Leaders of Authority, Courage, and Knowledge. And the wonderful thing is that not only did we speak about bold leaders of authority, courage, and knowledge, but we are bold leaders of authority, courage, and knowledge. And that's why we showed up today. That's why we shared regarding the people that we did. And so we want to invite you to share your story of impact and influence from Black historical figures. We appreciate you for joining us tonight, and join us tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern, for the final day. It's going to be packed with power. So join us for the final day as we conclude this amazing month of celebrating Black history, celebrating historical figures, current and past. Thank you for being here, and we will see you again tomorrow.